This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, good morning. I'm sorry for delay to start. Yeah, so in the previous session, we spent, I think, already 2.5 sessions. I have tried to explain what is the basic concept in rate. If you try to understand the concept of rate, uh, then it will be easier for you to understand the rest of the billing master data. So let me repeat myself to once again just give you the meaning of rate. Basically, what is the reason why you have got a rate? Like when you prepare the billing document, the purpose of billing document is to find out what are the line items we are going to we are going to charge the consumer. We are going to charge the consumer. That means I am a consumer. I'm going to get a bill every month. Bill for me means invoice, but in SAP, invoice does not happen directly. First, you will be preparing the billing document, and then you'll be preparing invoice. But now, the billing document will contain one or many items which are to be charged to me. That means some calculations will have to happen. Okay. So, in simple meaning, you can say line items we are going to charge to the consumer are calculated in the rate are calculated in the rate. So this is the simplest meaning one can have. So basically rate is the one which will do the calculation. But it depends on the design of the rate. Sometimes you may have to charge one item, sometimes twice, two or three. I mean, definitely it will be at least two or three items which you have to charge every month. But how these items will be charged? On what basis the amount will be calculated? So basically rate will contain steps of calculation, and each calculation is performed using a variant program. Okay, so each step has a variant program, and this variant program will calculate the amount, the particular amount. For calculating the amount, it has got the logic. Okay, this logic is available in the form of a function module program, and in order to execute this particular program, you need certain values which are variables. Okay, so these variables in SAP ISU, we call it as operands. There are two types of operands, input operands and then output operands. The input operands are the ones which are assigned the value during the billing execution, and based on the value, the output operand value is determined. Output is the result, what is actually the amount we have calculated. Okay. So for in our case, we want to calculate the energy amount. So for that, we are using quanti01, which will basically having two operands. Input operand based on a category quant, that's a quantity, and then we have got another input operand q price, quantity based price. Based on this, the amount is calculated. So a operand based on quantity quant, an operand based on q price, an operand based on amount we have to prepare and use them while preparing the rate. But now it is not only designing the rate. Each rate, when you execute, it is creating a revenue item. It is creating a revenue item, which is basically a value which has to be posted to a GL account, revenue account. So for that purpose, account determination has to happen. But there has to be some basis on which the account determination will happen. These values what to calculate in the rate, these are called sub-transactions. Sub-transactions are basically various calculations which are happening. Each output is a sub-transaction amount. Okay, but on basis of certain keys, accounting keys, we have to set up the GL account determination, which is the revenue account determination. So for that, we use what are called sub-transactions. Each sub-transaction is going to determine a revenue account, GL account. But these sub-transactions are not independent definitions. They are defined for the main transaction. The main transaction describes in which particular scenario these transactions are happening, so that total value can be posted to GL account, reconciliation account, based on the main transaction. So SAP has given main transaction for various billing processes. 0100 is consumption billing, 0200 is for final billing, 0300 for manual billing, likewise 0051 for the partial budget billing. Now for each of these main transactions, we have the same sub-transaction because only thing billing is changing, okay? Like you prepare a consumption billing, you charge the amount. Same rate you are executing to calculate the energy amount when the move out will happen. Same transaction you require when you prepare the manual billing. That means billing processes are different. Invoice will be the same, what you are preparing. Naturally, you will expect the FICA document to be posted also will be same, okay? But we are differentiating the FICA document depending on the origin of the invoice. In one case, invoice is prepared for the consumption billing. In one case, we are prepared invoice against a move-on billing. In another case, we are prepared invoice against a manual billing. So for each transaction, we can fix a reconciliation account. Whenever you are posting to a subledger account, parallelly the amount has to be posted to the reconciliation account. In sales and distribution, reconciliation account is fixed because when you create a customer master, you will maintain the reconciliation account. But in ISU, it is not fixed. That means if you do consumption billing, total amount has to be posted to one reconciliation account. But for the same consumer, when you perform manual billing or end billing, your reconciliation accounts are going to be different. So SAP has already provided the main transactions, sub-transactions. We can use them. Although they are available, they are not visible in our rate because we need to assign them to our company code and division. Once you assign them to company code and division, we are creating our rate for the particular division. So naturally, the sub transactions will be visible in our rate when you create. So let us go and assign them to our company code and the division. So go to financial accounting new, and then go to contract accounts receivable and payable. And then we have to go to basic functions, postings and documents, okay? And then select the document. Now, when you say document here, it is referring to FICA document, okay? A document which is posted into subledger accounting system, that is called the FICA document. Maintain document assignments. Then we can select the maintain main transactions. Maintain the main transaction. The main transaction will define what kind of FICA document you are posting. So here, application area R 0100 is the main transaction. That means you will prepare a consumption billing, you prepare an invoice, and when you post it, it's going to post a FICA document with the main transaction 0100. But in that particular invoice, what are the line items? Those line items are basically called as sub-transactions. So for 0100, we have got various sub-transactions. So if you go to application area R 0100, these are all the various sub-transactions. For example, 21 is the main sub-transaction for energy amount, what you are calculating. 20 for the fixed energy, that is lump sum energy, okay? Now, device rental value. So you can add your own sub-transactions if you want, okay? Depending on what items you are going to calculate. So basically, it is up to us, to the FICA consultant, to define as many sub-transactions as per the rate what you're going to design. Basically, it's an integration between the FICA and the ISU billing. So at this moment, we can use the existing sub-transactions. There's no need to define. So we have to assign this combination to our company code and division. So go to maintain transactions for billing. This is a place where you can assign all the main transactions, sub-transactions to our company code and division. For every scenario of billing, you must maintain the assignment. Right now, we are interested in consumption billing. Now, we can copy the existing data for a model company code. Our model company code is 0001, where the division is 01 for the electricity and 0100 is the main transaction. Now, whatever lines are available, you select all of them. and then copy, simply copy. After copying, you have to replace the parental company code with our company code. Our company code is going to be 6000, and then our division is 60, electricity. Continue. Like this, you can copy all the existing lines. So we are assigning the main transaction, sub transaction to our company code and division. And this is the basis on which we are going to do later the account determination. Right now, account determination is not required. But before executing the billing document, we must also maintain the account determination. So we will do that in the due course of time. So right now we are copying them and then save it. Now each assignment will determine, okay, we will use on request. We can use this. Yeah. Now each sub transaction what you are maintaining here will decide the position of posting. Okay. Like for example, energy amount is there, fixed energy amount is there, device rental value is there. All these amounts are actually going to be debited to contract account. That means invoice when you prepare, the revenue items are basically added together and debited to contract account. So 21 or 20 or 10, whatever you have here, these have been maintained as debit transactions. So if you go to the detail, you can see debit has been marked, okay? Because whenever you prepare invoice, all the amounts are added together and then you debit to contract account. But sometimes you may do credit memo where the posting will be reverse. The amount will be credited to contract account. So 21 will cause the debit entry, then 20 also will cause the debit entry. That means these are assigned to our revenue items what we are calculating. But suppose you are doing a manual billing using the same rate and I'm preparing a credit memo. Let's say I have to prepare a credit memo for the consumer, then 11 will become the sub transaction, which is a basically credit entry. Okay. And here these are not allowed for manual posting. We cannot post these sub transactions manually. That means you cannot post a FICA document manually. It has to be posted in the background. That means your FICA document will be created the moment you save the invoice. Okay. So now we have assigned the necessary combination. But apart from the consumption billing sub transaction, we also have to assign the main transaction sub transaction for the budget billing. Now, budget billing you may do or may not do, but there are two columns which are mandatory in the rate. Okay. Sub transaction is required for the budget billing also because there is no separate rate required for the budget billing. What is budget billing? During the budget billing period, we don't do the meter reading. Budget billing is an alternative option given to consumer. There are budget billing periods. Let's say starting from January to November, we are not going to do meter reading. Every month we will prepare a fixed invoice. That is, amount is fixed. Let us say 7,000 rupees. But the 7,000 rupees, how do you debit to the contract account? So you require a sub transaction. So the same rate what we have got in the rate category or through the schema, we are using the same rate. There's no separate calculation. So that's the reason we also have to assign the main transaction sub transaction of budget billing. Okay. So we will elaborate more on this when we are working on the budget billing. But right now we have to assign. So 000101. The main transaction for budget billing is 51. Okay. So there are three sub transactions. We have to select it and then copy, and then you maintain our company code 6000 and then 60 and then 6060 and then 6060. Here 0120 is basically our sub transaction for debit entry. Okay. And 110 is for credit. Okay. So we have already copied. So we have copied 3 lines and then save it. Okay. Now we will go to create the rate because we have already assigned the main transaction sub transaction. So let's go to create the rate. We were not able to create a rate earlier because we were not having these values. Okay. So let's go to the contract billing and then select the billing master data. Go to rate structure and then select the rates and then define the rates, create the rates. Now our rate is going to be Z600. We want to create. We will call it as household consumers with single rate electricity meter. Okay. Now whenever you create a rate, it is not an open definition. It is permissible. Permissible in the sense particular rate is designed to operate to calculate the amounts for a particular entity. Okay. This particular rate what you're creating is supposed to calculate the energy amount based on the meter readings that you have performed for the register of a meter. That means meter is the unit which is actually doing the consumption recording, but actually counting of the consumption is happening through register. That's the reason we defined a register group, and register group was put in the device category, and the device is inheriting that particular register property. So it is a register which is performing the meter reading. So our rate is executed for calculating the energy amount based on the meter reading performed for the particular register. That means if the meter is having two registers, let's say on peak register, off peak register, that means every month you're going to perform meter reading and you get two values, one for the on peak separately, one for the off peak separately. But we cannot have one single rate which is going to calculate both the amounts. You must create two rates, one rate for the on peak register, one for the off peak register. So that's the reason it is register permissible. If it is register permissible, we must specify what is the register operand we have created. So we have created the quant based, register operand as W quant. Okay, this is water consumption. So our division is 60. We have to put here 60, and our billing class is going to be Z600. We have to provide Z600. Then go to register operand. So here we will see 60-1 is the energy quantity. Then we have to maintain here validation class. This validation class will come from the meter reading. We are going to have separate discussion on the validation class. The purpose of validation class is whenever you enter the meter reading results, the validation class and the rules assigned to the validation class will do the validation. Suppose you enter the meter reading result. Is it acceptable or not? Okay. Is it more than the tolerance value or less than the tolerance value? Then if suppose the results are more than tolerance value, the results are not available for billing. Somebody has to release them after doing the correction or checking. So basically by entering the validation class, what we are saying is if the results have been approved, released based on the rules maintained in the validation class, then they are billable. Okay. So that's the reason we are linking this to meter reading configuration. So we will see how the validation class will work in the future. Then minimum portion, you can maintain any value here because here you are performing the exact number of days. That means what was the last date on which meter reading happened and what is the current meter reading date. For the exact number of days, we are going to calculate the energy amount. So portion is not relevant here. There are some designs where portion based billing will happen. Their minimum number of days should be available. Then the amount is going to be calculated. If the quantity is not available for the whole period, it will extrapolate. Okay. So that scenario is not applicable here. So you can enter any portion here. It doesn't matter. So I'm entering 100%. Now go to rate steps. Now we will enter our variant program quanti01. Our variant program is quanti01. Now we get here input operand. Our quantity is 60-1. Our price is 60-2. And the amount what we are calculating is 60-3. Okay. We enter. Then you can also maintain here a info lines for the quantity. What is info lines? When you execute the billing document, there will be two line items. The first line item will simply say, for this month billing, this is the quantity, a information, a kind of a statistical item is produced. So let's say we are doing billing from 1st of November 2019 to 30th of November. For that period, it will say the quantity is 600 kilowatt hour. But the second line item will contain the energy amount, which is calculated based on the quantity. That is 600 into 10 rupees per kilowatt hour, 6,000 is the amount. So two line items will come. So these items will be copied into invoice. So when the customer will read the bill, they will see the first line is the quantity information and the second line is the amount information, which has been calculated. So info lines can be added, and period control is up to the day. Okay, we are selecting here up to the day. That means we are going by exact number of days what are happening between the two meter reading date. Okay, up to this we had the
Sir,
data already. Yeah,
sir, exactly I didn't get what is the info lines.
info lines means basically when you prepare the billing document, the first line item will say this month consumption quantity 600 kilowatt hour. This is the info line. That means quantity is shown as information to the consumer. So consumer will know this month I'm getting billed for 600 kilowatt hour. The second line item will show 600 into 10 rupees. That's the energy amount. That is 6,000. Is it clear?
Yes,
Yeah.
this is only for calculation, right?
Which one?
Info lines.
Info lines. Yeah. Info lines are for information purpose. This
Okay.
info line is created for the quantity saying that
Yes.
this month your billing quantity is 600 kilowatt hour.
Okay.
And then the second line item will be the energy amount. Now we can maintain our debit sub transaction, that is 21, and then credit sub transaction, that is 11. And for budget billing, we have got 0, 120, and credit sub transaction is 0, 110. We were not getting these values here earlier because we had not yet assigned them to company code and the division. Now we have done, so we can go ahead with them. Now here there are three sub transactions. Now I'm using energy amount because this is the energy amount. Later on, suppose if I add a sub transaction for the lump sum energy amount, fixed energy, I can use 0.20. When I'm going to design the rate for the rental value, I can use 0.10. That means all these are debit entries only, but this is fitting with our definition because we are calculating the energy amount. Okay, 0021. This is for the credit posting. Suppose tomorrow we have to make a credit memo, then the amount will be posted using the credit memo sub transaction 0011. Okay, so now check for the consistency. Our rate is okay. Now save it. After creating the rate, the next step is to design the schema. Okay, what is schema? Schema will contain all the rates, one or more rates. Say for example, we have designed here only one rate. Okay, here you have designed only one rate. But imagine we had two rate meter. We had two rate meter. It has got two registers. It has got two registers. That means we have got two rates. Okay. Let's say Z600 is for on-peak register and Z601 is for off-peak. That means we have designed two rates. Z600 is for the on-peak amount, Z601 is for the off-peak amount. The individual rates we are creating, but after creating all the rates, what we'll do, we'll create a schema. Okay. So what is schema? Schema contains all the rates. It will contain all the rates. Suppose if you have designed 5 rates, okay. Why we have defined 5 different rates? Because of the technical reason. We cannot put all the calculations into one rate. For example, here let us say on peak is there, off peak is there. Then you have created a rate for device rental value. We cannot put the device rental value calculation in any one of these rates. It has to be done separately, okay? Because it is device permissible. So like this, you may have 3 rates. Individually, you define all the 3 rates, but all the 3 rates are to be executed when the billing is created. So now what we do, we create a schema and put all the rates what we have created. So whether you have created one rate or multiple rates, you are grouping them together in a schema. And when you group them, it will simply copy the rate and the corresponding variant programs. Okay. So now we have got only one rate here. We will create the schema for that. go to define schemas, create the schema. So let's say our schema is Z600. So we will say this is household single rate electricity meter, single rate electricity meter. Division is 60, billing class is Z600, schema steps. Now insert the rate, okay? You have to select the insert the rate. Now you can directly enter the rate here, what you want to include, or you can also find out. Presently our rate is permissible at the register level. So you can select permissible at the register level and then execute. Now it will find out the rate which is designed as Z600. Now Z600 is having variant program quantity 01. That means the schema contains the rate and the corresponding variant program. Suppose our rate was having 3 variant program. Z600 is having 3 variant programs. Z600 variant program 1, Z600 variant program 2, and then Z600 variant program 3. All the rates of the corresponding, all the variant programs of the scheme rate are copied into schema. Since at the moment you are having only one variant program, it is copied into the schema. Now here you have to maintain a pre-sorting key. Okay. What is the purpose of pre-sorting key? I will explain you when you are working on the invoice. So here you have to maintain a pre-sorting key 0002. It's a kind of a module program which has been defined. It is a fixed entity, but here you have to use 0002 only. The purpose of that you will come to know when you prepare the invoice. So we are entering here your pre-sorting key and then find out the consistency. It is consistent. Now you can save it. After preparing the schema, we are now going to define the rate category. Okay. Now rate category is the highest definition in the case of ISU billing master data. Whatever rate category you define here, which will be maintained in the installation data. Now we know in technical master data, there are 4 important master data elements: connection object, premise, device location, and installation. Now, so far we are not able to create installation for the premise because we were not ready with the billing master data. But now that we are designing the rate category, this rate category will be available for maintenance in the installation data. Basically, rate category is defined in such a way it is applicable to n number of installation. Let's say we have got in the total population of consumers, out of 5 million consumers in our area, distribution area, almost 3 million consumers are residential consumers with single rate meter. So for all those installations, we'll be maintaining the same billing class and rate category. Billing class is nothing but the grouping of all the installations which will belong to the same billing class. And for that billing class, we are defining a particular rate category. So billing class and rate category are spread over to n number of installation. Suppose out of total 5 million installation, 3 million installations are basically belonging to residential consumers, and they're all using single rate electricity meter. So in each of those installation, we are going to enter the same billing class and the rate category. So in a way, what we are saying, all these 3 million installations will be, billing will happen using the same logic. Okay. Like whatever logic is applied to me should be applied to the same installation maintained for another customer, which is also a residential consumer with a single rate electricity meter. That means the logic of billing calculation is maintained in the rate category. So ultimately rate category will become the highest definition. So let us define one rate category. Go to define the rate category. Create the rate category. Rate category contains exactly one schema. Whatever schema you prepared now, we're going to put in the rate category. Let's say our rate category is Z600 and our division is 60. Okay. Now we will say rate category for household consumers single rate electricity meter. Then billing class is Z600. Our billing schema is Z600. Now it is asking for the outsorting check group. So we will select one of the outsorting check group, that is residential consumer. Now, what is this outsorting check group? Outsorting check group will come in the validation of the billing document. Suppose you prepared a billing document for the residential consumer household single electricity meter. Whatever the amount is calculated, it is validated. That means based on our experience, we will say for the residential consumers who are having installation, like a 2-bedroom installation, whenever you do the billing per month, maximum value we can expect is around 8,000 rupees. Even 8,000 is on the higher side. On an average, they get a billing for 4,000, 5,000. In summer, it may be more. In winter, it may be less. But on the whole, if you see, the expected value could be 8,000 or 9,000. Okay. But we maintain this particular value in the outsorting rules. This is the outsorting check group. This is for residential consumers. Okay. We maintain the validation rules for this separately. So that we will see when you do the billing execution. Now we will specify what is the maximum amount, what is the minimum amount. Suppose in a particular month, suddenly billing value come to 15,000. Okay. Then it is something to check because on an average you are getting consumption billing value for 6,000, 7,000. But in one particular scenario, it has come 15,000, which means there could be somewhere some error. Maybe it has picked the wrong price or quantity was not incorrect. Okay. Then we have to check that billing document, why that amount has come so high, try to resolve it, and then prepare the invoice. You have to release it, and then it will go for the invoicing. Otherwise, what will happen? If suppose you allow the billing document, you prepare invoice and send it to consumer, but the consumer will say your invoice is wrong because you're expecting every month around 4,000, 5,000, whatever is the amount, but suddenly it has come 15,000, which is incorrect. Like there are some cases where, you know, in some of the newspaper you might have seen, somebody got a billing value for 2 lakh. Okay. Now it is illogical. And how they can consume that much of value? Their average consumption value is 3,000 rupees, 4,000 rupees. That means there is no process control. That means some checks have to be done. And it is not possible individually to check all the billing documents individually because you do everything in mass processing. At a time, you process billing documents for 20,000, 30,000, 50,000 installation. The billing documents are prepared and then they are taken forward for the invoicing. So individually, nobody can check how much is the value and how much is the invoice value. So that activity has to happen automatically in the background. By maintaining the outsorting check group, the system will find out what are the rules applicable for the outsorting check group. Accordingly, validations will happen. Suppose you created today 10,000 billing documents. 9,500 billing documents are okay. They are within the tolerance value. But 500 billing documents are having values more than the permissible value or less than the minimum value. Then they will be outsorted. Outsorted means billing documents are created, they are saved, but they are blocked for the invoicing. Unless the supervisor checks all the outsorted documents and then fix the issue, release them, they won't be available for the invoicing. So there is a separate transaction where you can run the report to see how many billing documents have been outsorted. Then go by each bill, correct them, release them, then they will go for the invoicing purpose. It's basically a validation check. Okay. But this validation can be different for the residential consumer. It can be different for the non-residential consumers. That's why you got the two outsorting check group. But these check groups you can define according to business requirement. Here we are taking one group as residential, one as the non-residential. Now we will continue.
Sir,
Yeah.
this check is only for bill document or this is for invoice also, sir?
Invoicing also separate outsorting is there. Like you are doing the logic in billing, there is a separate outsorting for the invoice also. But there you maintain the outsorting check group in the contract account. In the contract account, you have to say what is the outsorting check group. Based
Okay,
on that invoice
for invoice we will maintain a check groups at contact account level.
contract account level, yes, in the contract account you maintain.
For
Based on
bill
that, when
document we will maintain at a rate category level.
rate category, because rate category will go and sit in the installation.
Okay, okay. This is
Okay,
only bill documents.
billing documents. Correct. Now we
Okay,
have
thank you.
assigned the schema to rate category. Now comes the final very important definition, what we did not do earlier, but now we can do it. that important definition is the rate type. It is the rate type. Now, what is rate type? Let me explain. Because actually, if you see in the definition, rate type comes almost in the beginning only, define the rate types. But we did not define the rate type because we may not understand at that particular point of time what is the purpose of rate type. But now that we have defined all the necessary parameters, we can more easily understand what is the purpose of rate type. Now, suppose if you have defined, let us say, in a particular scenario, we got a 2 rate meter. We got a 2 rate meter. It has got 2 registers. Okay, we've got 2 registers. For one register, I've defined a rate as Z600. Another rate I've defined as Z601. And these 2 rates I put it in the schema. I prepared a schema Z600. In this schema, we got 2 rates, Z600 and then Z601. Then I prepared one rate category as Z600, in which the schema has been put as Z600. This rate category will go and sit in the installation. It will go and sit in the technical installation, what you prepare for the premise. But now, when you put the rate category, when the billing will happen, we require the rates to be executed. Okay. So basically, Z600 rate category contains the schema. This Z600 is basically schema, sorry, Z rate category. And this contains the schema. This contains the schema. So basically, I can put it this way: schema Z600, which is containing 2 rates, and in the rate category Z600, I have put the schema which is Z600. Okay, which is Z600, and this rate category Z600 will go and sit in the installation. Okay, so installation knows what rate category we are using. But in the rate category, you've got a schema. In the schema, you've got 2 rates. Okay. But how will the system know which rate has to be executed for what purpose? Okay. In English definition, you are saying Z600 is for on peak, Z601 is off peak. But how will the system know this particular on peak rate has to be executed for on peak register? So that information somewhere has to be maintained, because arbitrarily system cannot say Z600 is executed for so and so register. There has to be some link coming. Okay, it has to be a two-way definition. We cannot, I mean, there should be some basis on which system will know when the Z600 should be used or when Z601 should be used. Okay, rate category contains the schema. Schema has got both the rates. Okay, but Z600 rate has to be connected with the register, which is basically on peak, because when you define the device, in the device you are defined based on the device category. In the device category, you have got the particular register group, and in the register group there are 2 registers. So when you do the device installation, it will show there are 2 registers. When you're doing the Belling installation, the moment you install the device, it will show a device register level data. The moment you install the device, it will say it has got 2 registers, register 1, register 2. But according to our definition, register 1 is on peak, register 2 is off peak. That means the Z600 should be rate applied for register which is marked as on peak. Z601 should be defined as basically a on peak, off peak register, which is off peak register rate, which should be used for the off peak register. So how will the system know? That's the reason what we're defining is a rate type. Okay. The rate type is permissible at the register level. It is permissible at the register level. It is permissible at the device level. It is permissible at the facts level. Okay. At the moment to require 2 rate types, 1 rate type only, because our register is only 1. Okay. Suppose you had a 2 rate meter, then you have to define 2 rate types. One is the on peak, one is the off peak. Then we will say if in the rate category is Z600 in the installation, if at the device installation level, if the register 1 is having Z600 as the rate type, based on that, the rate can be Z600. That means we are determining the rate based on 2 factors. What is the rate category at the installation level? What is the rate type at the device register level? Because device is having the information on the register. So for this register, this is the rate type. If that is the rate type, for that what rate should be used? Okay, that means we are doing the rate determination based on two factors. What is the rate category in the installation level, and what is the rate type at the register level? Since we have got only one register, we need to define one rate type for the register level. So we will define the rate type. Go to define the rate type. Now select the new entry. We will say Z600 is the rate type for average consumption register. Average consumption register. Ours is having only one register. It's the average consumption register. We don't have on peak, off peak. So I'm checking Z600. Then the division is 60 and our billing class is Z600. And this rate type is permissible at the register level. Okay, we are saying register level because in future we'll be defining the rate type permissible at the device level, fax level. Like when you're doing street light billing, we're using the fax billing. PI means for smart meter, permissible for the interval meter. That means we are identifying what entity you are going to bill. Whatever permissibility you see here is same like rate. We have defined right now rate which is permissible at the register level. So similarly, our rate type is also permissible at the register level. So now we can save this rate type. We will see how it will work in the device installation. Now we can go and check up the define the rate determination. Select it. If at the installation level the rate category is Z600, if at the device register level rate type is Z600, what should be the rate? Okay. So now we will say rate determination, create the rate determination, then valid from. Let us say this is to be valid from 01/01/2019. That means it is a historical determination. You must maintain the date in such a way whenever you create installation effectively from this date, the rate can be determined. In our case, we are putting it as 01/01/2019. Any installation that I'm creating effectively from the date of 1st of January 2019, this rate will be applicable. What is the rate here? Our rate is going to be basically Z600 and then continue and then save it. So now we are ready with the one set of billing master data for which we have got basically what is the billing class, what is the rate, what is the schema, what is the rate category, what is the rate type, and the rate determination. Okay. Once this information is ready, we should be in a position to create our installation data. So far, we didn't create installation data because we were not having the what you call the billing master data ready. So after having done this, can I create a installation data? So let us do that. Now, if you go to technical master data, we can find out the connection object, which is maintained for our maintenance plant. So our maintenance plant is basically 6001. We'll select the 6001 and for which we have got 89 as the functional location. For 89 connection object, we have created the premise earlier. So go to premise, find out what is the premise created for the connection object 89. We have got three premises 179, 180, 181. So let us select 179. For this premise, I want to create the installation data. So go to create installation, create. Our key date is from 01/01/2019. That is the activation date of the installation. What is the activation date? From this date, you can say the premise got connected to electricity. Okay, a building has come, premises are ready. We have got the meter room. We have installed the meter in the device location in the meter room, and then from the meter, the wiring has been done to the particular apartment. And from this date, the electricity switched on. That means installation has become active. From this date, you can say the installation is available with the supply of electricity. Okay, that is the activation date. That is the date on which the installation has become active. That means before this date, there was no consumption. From this date onwards, the consumption can start. Okay, so now we will say continue, and then premise is 179. Now there are two important columns here which are related to billing master data. So now we go to billing class. Our particular billing class is Z600. And for this billing class, we have defined a rate category. What is the rate category? Z600. Because we were not ready with this data earlier, we could not prepare the installation data. So now we have assigned the billing class and the rate category. Here we have to enter a MR unit. This MR unit is responsible for the meter reading. Okay. But so far we are not created the MR unit. We are going to create, after some time. But I cannot save the installation without the MR unit. So let me enter one of the existing MR unit as S1, because this is not for any company code or any division. It is a client level data. What is the purpose of MR unit? In simple word, this will help us to schedule when every month meter reading should happen. Okay. The MR unit S1 has got meter reading dates. Let's say starting from January 2019, 30th of January, first meter reading can happen. Then February, then March, April, for whole of 2019, 2020, 2021. You can maintain the scheduled records for meter reading for 7 years, maximum 7 years. Starting from 2019 to, let's say, up to 2026, we have the dates stored maximum. Usually we have 3 years maintained. That means every month we are supposed to prepare the meter reading order as per the scheduled date. Okay. So S1 is basically a unit which is controlling the meter reading activity. So now we have assigned it. Now it is saved. Okay. But for this installation, where is the device? Okay. Now we have got the installation for the premise. Okay. But this installation consumption has to be measured by a device. So now we have to do the device installation. This time we'll be doing the billing installation. That means technical plus billing both together. Okay. That is called full installation. In technical installation, what happens? You are only saying device is installed in device location. But for which premise it is doing the meter reading, we don't know. Okay. But when you do the billing installation, we are also adding the installation for which the meter is installed. Okay. What is installation basically? It's a division specific data which is stored for a premise. Now, for instance, here we are having a installation created as 223. What is the definition of this installation 223? This is the installation data maintained for the division 60 for premise number 179. Tomorrow, if the premise is having water connection, there will be separate installation. If gas is there, separate installation. But ultimately, there should be a meter doing the meter reading for each of the installation. Okay, that's where we are doing the billing installation. Billing installation means actually we are using the installation data. Why? Because premise may have more than one installation. But tomorrow, when you put the meter has to be corresponding to that division. Now, suppose here premise number 179. If you directly assign the meter to premise, then for which installation we are reading it? Because premise itself is not division specific. Premise is an apartment, okay? But the meter should be available for doing the meter reading for electricity. So unless you assign the meter to the installation, it cannot be possible to assign the meter, because meter also we are creating for electricity division, okay? That's the reason SAP has kept the billing installation based on the premise. Now, technically you can first install, then you can do billing installation, or you can do at a time. That means you are maintaining both technical installation data and the billing installation data. Billing installation data means you have a device, you got a register. How are you going to build that register? That information you're going to maintain in the register level, that is a rate type. Okay. So now let's see how to do device installation. Now we'll go and find out a device which is available, IQ09. Now we can find out the material maintained for our maintenance plant 6001. So we can find out here based on the plant material. So our maintenance plant is 6001. So we have got three-phase alternate current meter 241. Okay, let us select 241 and then execute. We must select the meter which is available. Okay, so let us select 241, which is the meter available, because this is available from 1st of October 2018. So it is applicable to us. We can use it. So select 241. Material 887 is the serial number. Okay, so we will use 887. So our device is 887. It's identified with the number 887. Now installation is ready. Our installation number is 223. Now we'll come back to device installation. Go to device management, device installation, installation full. I'm maintaining full installation. That means we are going to say for this installation, I'm going to do the device installation. That installation is maintained for a particular premise. So indirectly, we are saying this meter is going to work for this particular premise. So select the full, enter the installation number. Effectively, meter is going to work from 0101 2019 because our installation is also active from the 1st of January. And then what is the new device? Our new device is 887. We are installing the device 887. Now it is asking device location. In which device location? We are selecting 90. That means technical installation also we are doing. We are also doing the billing installation. That's why it's called full installation. So now we will select 90 and then continue. Whenever you maintain the device installation, removal, replacement, whenever you perform these activities, system should know what activity you are doing. Here we are preparing the device for the installation purpose. In some activity, you may be doing the replacement, removal. So that information you get from the activity region, which is installation extension. Okay. What is this installation extension? It's a configuration. I'll show you tomorrow what is the data maintained here, installation extension. That means you are preparing the device for the installation purpose. A new device has been added in the installation structure. Now, whenever you enter any meter in the installation, we have to say what is its initial meter reading. Okay, the company has sent a meter. We have put the meter in the installation. At the time of installation, what is its meter reading? Usually, when you send the new meters, they're all calibrated with a 0. That means no consumption has happened. It is 0. Okay, so we can enter 0. Or suppose they ran the meter for some testing. It has ran on the load for about half an hour. Okay, and it has recorded some consumption. Okay, so at the moment when the meter is put, it is showing a meter reading as 10. Okay, whatever meter is showing the result at the time of installation, you must maintain that data so that in future from that data the consumption will be aggregated. Okay, if it is 0 now, let's say after 1 month when the consumption has happened, it is going to show 600. That means 600 after 1 month minus 0 at the time of installation, consumption is 600. So you have to start with the base value. So that is the meter reading at the time of installation. Now you have to enter another important information here, which may be required later. Okay, here we are maintaining what is the expected consumption value from this meter. Okay, a ballpoint figure. It is not accurate. It is only for information sake, but this will be useful later on when you do initial meter reading validation for budget billing. Now we will say all the household consumers with single rate meter on an average they consume 600 kilowatt hour per month. Okay, that means if you take based on the historical data, what we have seen for residential consumers having single rate meter, where they have got what you call the electricity meter, on an average, if you take per month, it is around 600 kilowatt hour. Either you can maintain per day or for 30 days. If you don't maintain the number of days, it will take by default 365. So I can maintain 20 kilowatt hour per day or 600 kilowatt hour for 30 days, or I can say 6,000. But if it's per 365 days, you don't have to enter number of days. By default, it will take 365 days. But I'm saying here, it is average 600 kilowatt hour for 30 days. Now you can see we are doing the device installation. This is the register data. From where this is coming? This is coming from the register group. That means your device belongs to device category. In the device category, there is a register group. That data has been copied here. This is the register level data. And here we are going to enter the rate type. Okay. That means tomorrow when you do the billing for this meter reading, what is the rate type? Based on the rate type, rate will be determined. So you are entering the rate type here. Our rate type is Z600. We are maintaining. Now you see it is showing Z600 rate type. How it is showing here? Because our rate type is register permissible, and also it is for the division 60. Okay, so it is showing. Now continue. Now based on this rate type, system will determine the rate in the installation. Tomorrow, suppose there is something missing in the rate determination, the system will not allow us to do the billing installation, okay, because there is an error. But now we are not getting any message. It means our rate has been determined. Now we will save it. Now we can go and check in the installation data. Go to ES31 and 223. Here, if you go to billing periods, rate category is Z600. If you go to billing periods, here you can see the rate. The rate has come as Z600. That means, how is this rate determined Z600? This rate Z600 has been determined based on two factors. What are two factors? Rate category Z600 is installation level, and at the device level, the rate type is Z600. If the rate type is Z600 at the device level, register level, if rate category is Z600, then the corresponding rate what we have to use is Z600. So accordingly, rate has been determined. That means when the billing calculation will happen, this rate will be executed. Later on, if you have a two rate meter, how the rate will be determined? You can do some guesswork. Anyway, I'll show it to you one of the days. If you design a two rate meter, how the rates will be determined. But this is now having the complete data. It has got a rate category, it has got a rate type, and rates have been determined. Okay, so our installation is ready. Okay, this was the bottleneck because we were not having the billing data, so we could not create the installation data. Now it is ready. Okay, after installation is ready, we are now come to a stage where we can start working on the move-in process. Okay, we can do the move-in process. A move-in document can be created. Tomorrow we will see what are the configurations you have to do for creating the moving document. Based on that, the content will be created.
Hello.
So we'll see you tomorrow. Yeah.
Yeah, hello.
Yeah. Hello. Vinit?
Yeah, I want to, yes, I want
Yeah,
to
please.
ask you one thing.
Yeah, please, please.
Yeah, say for example,
Yeah.
if we have a consumer
Uh-huh.
wherein we do a slab-based billing.
Okay.
Slab-based billing means for first 50 units there is maybe 5 rupees. Then from
Yeah.
50 to 100 there may be 6 rupees.
Yeah.
So this is one thing, slab-based billing.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
apart from that, also that billing makes use of the maximum demand or the demand value.
Okay. Okay.
Irrespective of whichever slab, the
Yeah.
demand value is a constant one, and
Correct.
it has a single value of demand,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
the slab is a different rate.
Yeah. Yeah.
So at 50 one rate, up to 100, say for example, another
Yeah.
rate. So
Yeah.
in that context,
Yeah.
how can we do that?
Yeah. Yeah. Basically, you see, that will come to billing pricing master data. After creating the billing master data, we'll be
Hmm.
designing the billing keys, master data, the prices. If you go to
Hmm.
billing, you can
Hmm.
have the billing master data maintained for the prices. You will define
Hmm.
the price. Now here, when
Okay.
you create a price, it will be asking what kind of price you are creating. It can be
Hmm.
like quantity based price. Pricing
Hmm.
type can be standard price, block price,
Hmm.
scale price. Okay. What you're taking is a slab price. It's called block price in SAP. Okay. So you can
Okay.
maintain the block prices. If the first block is 0, second block is 100, third block is 300. That means if the
Hmm.
consumption is happening between 0 to 100, what is the price? Then 100 to 200, it is having one price. That means your entire quantity is broken down to blocks. Suppose 600 is the total energy. This 600 will not be multiplied with the single price. First 100 units will be multiplied with one price. Next 200 units will be multiplied with another price. So you will be designing a price key. There are three types of price key: standard price key, scale price key, block price key. Standard price key means whatever may be the quantity, only one price. Scale price means you maintain a scale. Okay. Suppose if quantity is up to 200 kilowatt hour, one price. If it is up to 400, one price. But it will take the entire quantity multiply with one price key. That is the scale price. But what you're talking is a block price. In the block price means you're not applying with one single price. You are going to divide the entire quantity into slabs. Based on the slabs, the value will be calculated. So we are going to define these price keys and assign these, because basically this is an operand value. Price is an operand. So once you define the price
Okay.
key, we'll be maintaining the operand value in the facts level. Okay. So this will come up when later when you're doing the price key definition.
Okay.
That time
One thing more, sir. The rate
then
and the
coming to
schema.
about your demand billing, right now
Yes.
our meter is only energy meter. Okay. But
Okay.
you have to have one more meter created for the demand calculation. So in that we'll put the register relevant for KW reading and maximum one peak is taken. So you'll be having a separate rate for demand billing, separate rate for register, energy amount, and separate rate for the demand billing. We have to define
So where
separate. Hmm?
so that schema that we define today, we don't maintain in that schema that thing, or we have to
Yeah,
maintain
no,
in that schema only.
you have to define a separate rate because that is permissible for the demand billing. Operand will be different. You're using
Yeah,
font. Huh?
the separate will be rate will be defined, and it will be put
Yes.
in the same schema or in the another schema.
Yeah, it has to put only one schema because your rate category can contain only one schema.
Okay, the schema that we created today, in
Ah,
that schema
yeah.
only, we'll have
You
to
can
put
add.
another
Yes, exactly. Another
for
rate. Yes,
for the
you are right.
demand.
You are right. You are right.
Yeah,
You
that
are right.
was that,
That's,
that I was asking. That only I was asking. And sir,
I'll show
this
you. Yeah.
sub transaction creation that you showed for
Ah,
debit and credit,
ah, ah, ah.
uh, that is basically means done for each component. For each item, the debit will be there and
Yeah.
the credit will be there.
Yeah. Basically, suppose in your billing calculation, there are 3 line items. 3 line items are basically 3 different amounts you are calculating. So each is a sub
I
transaction. So you have
understood.
to,
I understood that for the say for example, if we bill a consumer or make an invoice, then we'll make a debit entry. That will
yes,
fine. Say for
yes.
example, if the consumer makes a payment, then that will come into the credit entry.
No, no,
That will
no.
go
It's not.
in the.
That is the basically payment entry. For that, you have got separate sub transaction. Credit means,
Oh,
suppose you did the billing, and then we have announced that for all the billings you have done in the last 3 months, you are giving a credit memo at the rate of 1 rupee per kilowatt hour. That means you are making a
okay,
credit memo on the existing billing document. But the
okay,
payment entry is not a credit memo. You are clearing the billing document, invoice what you have posted. It's an incoming
yes,
payment.
yes, yes,
It is posted on the credit side of the account, but it's not a
yes,
credit
yes.
memo. Credit memo
Okay,
means
because
on your
yes,
own you are giving some credit to customer on the existing billing document. That's the meaning of
okay,
credit memo.
because I was confused because say for example in our system when a payment comes, the sub
Yeah.
transaction that we see is for the credit only. The credit sub
Yes.
transaction comes into picture.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I was
But
thinking that basically
basically
that is the
no. There's one more. There are 2 more sub transactions which I have not revealed to you. That is 0001, 0002. That I kept it pending for explanation when the invoice is posted. That time you get an idea what is 0001,
oh,
0002. But credit
okay,
memo is different. Incoming payment is different. Effect is same
okay.
only. In both the cases, the
Oh
amount is
yes,
credited. Okay. But we
yes,
don't
yes.
say just
Okay.
because customer made a payment, it is a credit memo. You are only clearing the existing document which has been debited. That's a clearing.
Oh, okay. That because the effect is same, so I was a bit confused.
Yeah,
Ki
yeah. You
maybe
are right.
they are the same. Yeah.
Correct. You are right. And in a way, you are right. Yes, correct.
Okay. Okay. Fine, sir. I got your point.
Okay. Tomorrow. Yeah.
Okay, sir.
Okay.